Most intelligent guy on the tour, it's difficult to say. Obviously, every player thinks they're intelligent. You know, it may well be Dominic Dale, but that could be just a front. We don't know. It could be Peter Ebdon. Nobody really knows. And I don't know all of the players further down and the new qualifiers. So it remains open, but perhaps we should have a snooker mastermind to decide. Best dressed player? Well, obviously Mark Selby's in the background as I say this, calling his name out and trying to get my attention. Hello, Mark. Obviously never knowingly underdressed, and that's a very nice situation to be in. So I would say Mark Selby has got a certain panache at the moment. Worst dressed? Well, I think probably obviously I come into the equation in one respect, but it would be unfair to name Anthony Hamilton. It's not fair to say that, but then I'm probably going with the flow by saying that, and Anthony doesn't mind. Obviously he doesn't mind that at all, because he's in for the long run. The biggest joker, I suppose you'd have to say Mark Williams, but it's wearing a little thin these days. You know, it's like same old tired lines year after year, and as he's not producing on the table, it's not as funny anymore. My best friend on tour? I have no friends, never had any friends, and it's difficult to say. Obviously everybody says hello to me, just out of sort of kindness, I think, perhaps feeling a little sorry for myself, but I quite like some of the, I think I like all the players, a good bunch, good geezers. Well, the best dancer used to be Tony Meo, but we're going back into the annals too far now. I haven't got a clue about who's the best dancer. I don't really see what relevance that has to anything to do with snooker. And the best singer? Well, I suppose once again, you know, the accolade would go to Dominic Dale, because we don't know the strength of the others. Peter Ebdon obviously has had a record out, but you know, I don't want to sort of pull rank, but if you're looking at the charts, number 7 in the charts for Snooker Loopy, I've got to be up there. Biggest moaner? Well, the accolade for biggest moaner seems to go regularly to Graham Dott, but I don't necessarily think that's true. I think it's just, unfortunately, when you go into a press conference, you get the chance to say what's on your mind, and it's nice to be in press conferences. I'm sure further down the ranking list we have some bigger moaners who don't get the chance to go to press conferences, so I wouldn't say it's Graham Dott, but obviously people would possibly say. Anybody's a future world champion. It's not easy to predict who's going to get to the final stages of events and who's going to raise their head above the parapet. It's a difficult one to say who's going to be a future world champion. So many great players, so many great names. The next 10, 20 years in the game, I'm talking long term, are going to be fascinating. Best player I've ever played against was me in practice. That was a fantastic day. I really give myself every respect in the game. Greatest player I've ever played against? Well, it's either Stephen Hendry, John Higgins or Ronnie O'Sullivan for different reasons. Stephen Hendry's probably the best player I've played against when I was playing at my prime and when he came along. John Higgins, for me, the greatest all-rounder I've seen, but I'd have to say now that Ronnie O'Sullivan is pushing the barriers of the game even further. So even though it's a tough one and Ronnie hasn't won as many world championships as Stephen Hendry, perhaps Ronnie O'Sullivan's the greatest player we've ever seen, and I have played against him actually. Yeah, I did play him once. Yeah.